Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Up Is Not Jump reaction. And yeah, Lethal Company is an absolute nightmare. This is why, featuring Caddicarus. Oh, when I saw the teaser for this, I forget who posted, whether it was Up Is Not Jump or Caddicarus, I was so happy because I know I haven't done any reactions to Caddicarus' stuff, but I've been a fan of his for years. If you don't know who he is, he's very much, he's a video game reviewer, but he focuses more on, he used to be like solely like PlayStation 2, now he's slowly expanding, just more to PlayStation in general, Crash Bandicoot, that sort of stuff. But apart from him just being, a good and entertaining reviewer, he is also like the perfect catalyst for, those Twitter accounts where they're just ex-YouTuber or ex-person out of context. Because I swear, there is an absolute flood of just out of context clips whenever he puts a new video out, because he just does such weird stuff. Granted, and I've thought about doing reactions to his stuff, but again, like a lot of people that I like watching, it's the whole thing where like I've seen all of his older stuff and I don't want to do a fake like first time reaction to it. And I'll think about it next time he uploads. We'll have to see then. But either way, I am very excited to see what the both of them have to say about Lethal Company. Which, speaking of Lethal Company, I have, some experience with. I've played it a couple of times. I'm going to be completely honest here, even when you're playing with a group of people, it's not my thing. As I said before, I don't like getting scared, and even with the mitigating factor of playing with several people and everybody has walkie-talkie, or you're in like pairs and stuff like that, I cannot do it. So luckily I was still able to return it, and yeah, anybody who likes playing it, keep playing it, because I am so happy to see small games like this get so popular. Like, oh, what was it? This was a while ago, but I remember hearing something that the guy who made the game, I'm forgetting what his like online title is, but he had made like $25 million from the sale of this game, and I also remember seeing somebody else, they were making a joke of like Call of Duty looking envious and angry at Lethal Company for being so like popular and successful, while Call of Duty is just sort of like this middling, slowly dying franchise now that gets a new installment every other year at the least. But yeah, oh yeah, okay, with all that out of the way, let's actually get this going. So of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day, and with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
Oh, it's a co-op game, but I don't have anyone to play with.
It's more than... Oh, here he is.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, God.
Lethal Company is a game so popular that everyone's already played it, so I don't know why I'm reviewing it. This game was released by Zeekers in October 2023.
Zeekers, okay.
But it isn't their first game. Over the last 4 years, this solo developer has made so many games that it's actually quite hard to work out how many. Steam says 3, but their itch.io lists 8, and that's ignoring their Roblox game,
what?
As everyone should. I think this approach as a developer is a good way to go. Fuck releasing one game a decade, where's that gonna get you? Red Dead 1, for example, was infinitely better than Red Dead 2, and yet the first one was released alongside 4 other games, including whatever these games are, they're too small to see, and L.A. Noire. And that game really was groundbreaking. Remember just trying to work out if someone was lying?
Are you sure you're not lying about anything, sir? Shoot it.
Okay, so oh God, that brings back so many memories. So while I myself have never played L.A. Noire in its total, I have seen the entire game because my little brother got L.A. Noire for the 360, the Xbox 360, and he was, rather younger at the time. So so the whole thing was like, I'd be in the room with him, I'd watch him play the game, having fun. We were essentially doing Game Grumps, but weren't recording it. And whenever he'd get stumped on one of these puzzles, trying to figure out if somebody was lying, I would inevitably be called in to help try to figure it out. Which, given that I have Asperger's, was kind of a problem for me. But yeah, I mean, that was very much a thing. Even if I wasn't in the room, he'd call me down, or like one of our parents to go down and try to like see the person's face to try to figure out whether they were lying. Oh, that was absolute fun times. I loved it. But yeah, that game, I mean, if I remember correctly, weren't the faces like motion capped or something? Because I know all the faces are literally like the voice actors' faces. They did one of those. I swear normal people don't move their faces so much. The stock has come off of his gun and he's shooting the stock. Okay, Caddy. Wait, I just realized if Caddy is in an Up Is Not Jump videos, I hope we have an Up Is Not Jump cameo in like whatever Caddy's next video is. Oh, that's gonna be beautiful.
Yet Red Dead Redemption 2 basically destroyed Rockstar for 5 years, and all this just so we could get more character development of our main character, Arthur.
Yeah.
An uneducated man in the 1800s who is perfectly happy to murder thousands of innocent people, but sexism, oh no, women need my help to vote. Great one, Rockstar, you've perfectly married the ideals of Harold Shipman with the Pankhurst family. What a compelling character.
Arthur Morgan, the cowboy simp.
Not to mention there's also a scene where Arthur is visibly confused by racism. This was 1899 America. This is like a modern day person being confused by the concept of the internet. Or air. I think if you are an indie developer, it seems focusing on a simple, solid idea that will take no more than a year to get a stable version out seems like a slightly less soul-crushing approach. I feel like the VR scene embraced this at its core. Think of Beat Saber. I mean, the development time on something so simple couldn't have been more than 3 months. 3 weeks! And it makes...
Do you need glasses or something? This is the 3rd time you've misread a number.
All you do in that game is destroy evil cubes.
Your turn, Caddy. How? Where did you find that?
Come up with a...
What was that? I know there's a name for a shape like that. I just don't remember what it is.
Game with a simple setting and a simple primary gameplay loop. Like a single room where you shoot enemies, a single room where you hit balls, or just a game like this. Hello? Yes, we've got the goat, boys! As far as I can make out, Zika spent about a year working on Lethal Company before it was released for early access, but it is far more complex than the games I just talked about. In Lethal Company, we play as employees for a company called The Company, and we are tasked to gather scrap from abandoned
Love
loot.
The Company.
And although this seems pretty minimal plot-wise, I think it actually gives you a lot to think about. Given the company's generic name and the fact that everywhere you see is so desolate, it implies that maybe The Company is the only thing left in the entire world. A far-reaching conglomerate, like if Amazon did everything and just admitted it was run by singular tentacle monsters. But why is the company run by tentacle monsters? I'm not a tentacle monster, and why do they want jars of pickles and Rubik's Cubes so badly? Are they so omnipresent that simply everything has value, or are resources so scarce that they desperately need anything?
Wait, okay, so if I remember correctly, I remember watching a video specifically about like the hidden lore in a Lethal Company. And they were talking, and this was like going through like various like journal entries you can find and stuff like that. But I believe that they came to the conclusion that the company is like hiding, or it's either hiding or either is a like eldritch, like Lovecraftian monster that eats like matter, like just junk in general. And God, what was the name of the Paradise World that supposedly got destroyed because of it? Oh God, I'm forgetting all this now. Great. But yeah, so like it was like there were some things pointing to the fact that the monster was in hiding and it's hiring you to bring itself food. But then also at the side of the company building, there's also this drill that you can find that has spaces that look like you can plug in those like generator, like module power things into to try to drill into the building, and that might be like a future content into the game. I don't know.
The game has a nice level of intrigue that lets you wonder about what could really be going on as you mindlessly honk your horn incessantly, just waiting for death's sweet grit to take you. The limited video works so well because, as I always say, imagination can always think up something far more spooky than a shown reality. And speaking of spooky, this game is scary.
This doesn't seem so bad.
Oh god, yeah. The masks, no.
With their long history of first making Roblox horror games and then Unity horror games, Zika's has been able to effectively make Lethal Company creepy AF.
And speaking of the little girl, it's me, the little girl, and allow me/her to sell you something I've made. I recently announced that I made the Absolute Nightmare box set, a box that you can get right now that includes over 10 different types of completely exclusive Up Is Not Jump themed merch. An almost 40-page long glow-in-the-dark booklet.
I really wish I could afford it, that's the thing.
A 64GB USB drive in the shape of a personalized wrist computer that contains over 3.5 hours of unseen videos written and produced by me. An amazing poster, a beautifully designed weathered cap stash that contains over 10 unique Up Is Not Jump themed caps. But no, there's more. A sticker sheet with 7 Up Is Not Jump themed stickers, 3 enamel pins that you can put on your favorite little girl dresses, a large temporary tattoo, 3 recipe cards, and although they haven't even shipped yet, we've already sold 1/3 of them. Yeah, oh my, I can't believe my, thank you all those so much. So act now before the stocks are fully decimated by my ghostly ectoplasm.
Yeah, I wish I could afford it.
And now let's go back to house.
As you can see in the corner here of the video, for me, it's showing that for me, it's $134 Canadian.
Scary Lethal Company is.
Lethal Company isn't terrifying, though. Well, I beg to fucking differ.
The
Generally,
masks.
the horror is built quite subtly and is achieved mostly with clever sound design. It starts with the game opening to what is, let's face it, a fucking jam.
Great asset to the company. Great asset to the company.
And this upbeat opening is great because it sets in stone that your ship is generally a pretty safe space.
Generally.
And this,
as long as you don't bring the danger to it.
happy music teaches you that. Even when your ship first lands on a desolate moon, you get some pretty relaxing atmospheric tunes straight out of Minecraft to start you off. But as you get further from your ship, it all changes, and then you enter a facility.
Not the facility, a facility.
All the music stops and you're left with mostly the immersive sounds of the building you're in. And simply put, all the sound design in this game is fucking fantastic. All of it. From your character's footsteps to the gentle whirring noises from machinery around some of the facilities. Every sound is just so impactful, and the lack of music makes exploring each map and collecting scarp all the more immersive and creepy. Where this game truly shines, though, is with the monsters that are out to make your scarp collecting journey all the more pants pooping. And while I'll get to how very interesting they all are, their sound design is what sells it. Look, I'll play you some. Shut your eyes now and imagine a giant spider. Ready? Well, I can feel it on my back.
There's nothing on it, right? What?
Because of how horrible this is, Zika's has actually introduced a mode where the bunker spiders are replaced with the word spider. All the monsters have their own very distinctive sounds.
God, I wish more games did like stuff like that. Can you imagine if they did a remake of Silent Hill and instead of Pyramid Head, there was just the word triangle?
So you can work out which one is around you or on top of you. My favorite memory of the game's audio is probably hearing the slow footsteps of the masked enemies.
Oh god, those are terrifying.
Footsteps, I knew I was totally alone in this house, and yet I heard. Fucking chilling.
Your wife isn't here, right?
No, she's not here today.
Okay, so here's the thing. While I may not play the game anymore, I do watch people play it, and my favorite by far is watching Markiplier play it with his friends like Bob and Wade, and just. I think it's pretty sure it's a mod, but there's one monster that they've modded in where it'll record like the proximity voice chat, and it'll spawn a monster that uses clips of audio. So you'll just, oh god, I forget which episode it was, but there was one where it was like Mark and Wade were together, and then they heard Wade's voice coming from a separate room. Oh god, that was absolutely so freaky.
What's so great about this situation, though, is this sound could have easily have convinced me that there was a fellow online player in the next room. Fortunately, though, we all know what random players online are like. There is almost no way a human player would give off a slow, steady walk like that. So
Oh god, the jetpack.
Fucking hide. Many of the enemies have ways that you can avoid them like this too.
Yeah,
Spiders
die.
will leave webs. Snare fleas are visible if you're perceptive. You will always see a Bracken's eyes in the dark. And like the masked people, you can hear a lot of the game's enemies before you see them, like Thumpers, the Ghost Girl, and Earth Leviathans.
Oh god, yeah,
game.
those.
The thing is, the main activity of this game, which is basically loot score, is to me somewhat boring. What makes this game good for me, though, is outside its great atmosphere, is the enemies are all so varied. They range from not that dangerous,
Nah, man, I don't think this thing can hurt me.
to the most dangerous beings in existence. See, as part of this review, I was going to say this game is tough but fair, but these guys
No, it's not.
fair. See, each enemy is kind of like
So that's the thing. Those things, I forget what they're called, but they're kind of like the mirror opposite of the blind dogs, where of course the blind dogs are, blind, but they can hear very well. Those are completely deaf, but they can still see you.
boss monster, and that there's usually a specific tactic you can use to survive them. My favorite monster is probably the coil head.
Oh
which will
god,
only
yeah, the
approach you when you
SCP
aren't looking at it.
173
Getting away is
knockoffs.
pretty easy.
Are you dead?
Snare fleas can be battered off, bunker spiders' webs can be avoided, hoarding bugs can be appeased, you should only glance at brackens, thumpers can be hit at the right time, eyeless dogs are blind, baboon hawks can be shouted at or ganged up on, and
Oh god, yeah, I
centipedes
forgot
will
about
always
that.
kill me no matter how much I play this fucking game. As soon as you see or hear a specific enemy, you'll have to quickly recall how to deal with them and act. But because this game is so scary, I often just totally panic and forget what to do. Or I just need to keep quiet. Oh, for God's sake!
Yeah,
And
there
it
we
isn't
go.
just the enemies that spawn that change the moment-to-moment gameplay. If you play as a team of 3 or 4 people, there are so many different ways you can approach the way you loot and explore. You can all have flashlights, split up completely, split up into teams, use weapons, use walkie-talkies, leave people on the ship to guide you, be aggressive, be stealthy, use teleporters, stun weapons, radar boosters, jetpacks, guns. But for each item you hold or person you leave behind, there's less space to carry scrap.
Well, I mean, there's also the fact that the more scrap you're carrying, the heavier you are, so the less maneuverable and slower you move, which also sucks.
So many teams I work with don't use any items at all and just wander around in the dark. There are just
Which again, another mod that Mark and his friends use, they have there's like a separate toolbar where like walkies and flashlights are, so they don't take up like an inventory slot for scrap. Oh, gotta love it. Or wait. Was that a mod that just does that, or was that the mod that adds an upgrade for that? I forget. It's been a while since I watched.
so many different enemies and tactics that the gameplay is always changing. And because the layout of the levels and the enemies that spawn are basically random, Lethal Company is just filled with those special organic moments that simply can't be planned. Oh
God.
my. And I will say that although I think the difficulty is very well balanced, it does seem that some enemies can unfairly kill you without any warning. Like this moment here when I watched my friend get killed fighting a nutcracker.
I'm on it. I have it.
Eventually I worked up all my courage to finish the job. I grabbed that sign and... Granted, this wouldn't have happened if I had been more aware of my surroundings or not alone. But I feel like the game could offer slightly more warning before it insta-kills you, especially given how difficult it is to deal with a lot of the enemies already. Please forgive me. This also shows how playing with anything other than a team of 3 or 4 people is basically suicide. I started off thinking I could play the game as a team of 2, but making any real progress that way really isn't much fun. Partly because each quota and the value of script is basically the same regardless of if you have 2, 3, or 4 players.
Yeah, and also your quotas keep going up. That's always the way it is.
Either way though, due to the inherent design of the game, even if these issues were fixed, playing with 3 or 4 players is by far the most fun way to do it. This is because the way TeamSpeak has been implemented into this game is basically perfect.
Oh god, yeah, that's one of the things. I don't know why. The TeamSpeak and proximity chat in this game has been implemented so well. I don't think I've ever seen a game that's had it work that well before. It's absolutely phenomenal.
There's a monster. How it works is pretty simple. When you're all together, you can all hear each other. But the further away you get from each other, the quieter your voices become, until eventually you can't hear each other at all. And once a teammate is out of earshot, it's like Schrodinger's cat. They are simultaneously alive and dead, but almost certainly they're dead. And the more players you have, the more fun this system is.
Oh my god.
Also, the fact that
when we played, we had 6 people thanks to mods.
Time is probably the best design choice in the whole game. Because this means when you go off on your own, you feel really, really alone. It makes the walkie-talkie feel like such a sanity lifeline.
Is there anybody out there?
Overall then, I think Lethal Company is quite a special thing. The sleeper hit of a solo developer who has spent years pushing the limits of what they can do.
Yeah.
See, most small-time horror games of this style will usually just have a few enemies with somewhat similar design. But Lethal Company not only layers over 15 completely different monsters, it has loads of different ways to play, varied levels with day and night, weather effects, stable online play, interesting lore, and the graphics are really great too. The game seems to have some filters applied that give it a stylistic retro effect, not unlike Return of the Obra did. But I think these effects also successfully hide some quite low-res textures, which allows the game to run on less advanced systems while still looking pretty good.
Well, okay, that's another thing I do like about this game, where it's just the fact that, like, I've never been one for, like, photorealistic graphics. I've always thought that they were, like, very much a waste of time. I've been so happy that recently we've been seeing more, like, major games have, like, not focus on looking photorealistic. Yeah, like, the most recent one, obviously, would be Hi-Fi Rush, which I haven't played it yet. It's on my wish list. I want to play it, but that looks so much fun, and like its cartoony style just looks great. That's not going to be something that ages poorly for like decades, which kind of goes back to the whole thing he was talking about earlier with Red Dead Rising 2, where there was just such a long gap of time between it and any other releases. And then also, if you want to look at it, also like GTA 6, where it's been so many years since like anything has been released on top of that. It's just been, I wish like these studios, I guarantee that they would start making a lot more money if they started focusing on putting out more smaller creative projects. Just like creating like new IPs, like getting new ideas, fresh ideas out there, instead of like continuously milking the same things until they're literally dry. And, you know, then they'd have, like, lesser costs. They wouldn't have to raise their prices, and, you know, everybody's happy then. Granted, like, I know you wouldn't get certain experiences like Cyberpunk or, like, certain other big, expansive games like that, but I mean, you can always change things up every few years. You know?
Just look how great this spinning fan looks, and this fire. Or just enjoy the striking look of the red sun rising in the morning.
Damn you, son!
It is bright.
Did you hear that?
Oh god, no! The mannequin's back!
Don't worry. I'll keep us safe.
Oh no.
Well, I guess we scared it off. Hello everyone, it's me, the masked little girl. I'm gonna get you. Jesus Christ. Hello! I just wanted to appear to tell you that I'm gonna be streaming Lethal Company on this channel at Sunday, the 4th of February at some time with Dan Nerd Cubed, Matophobia, and Many a True Nerd. That's their names. So please come along and watch the stream. It will be here on this channel at this time. Yes.
Oh god. I love that. I mean, not as much Caddicarus in the video as I wished there was. I mean, like, I hoped that it would have been, like, more back and forth instead of just Caddicarus appearing in, like, jokes and stuff like that. But, I mean, still, it was a good video. I still love that. That was fun. So, yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it yet for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.